Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aging and Spirituality podcast. I hope you've all had a great week or a few days, and we're ready to talk to you about some more good stuff. Today, we're going to talk about how to stay open when we're facing negativity. When you're trying to, especially when you're trying to do good, sometimes you're faced with people being really negative or critical for no reason or betraying you. Sometimes it's a close friend. And our first instinct when that happens, and I think this is true of almost everybody, is to start to shut down. But when we do that, we kind of constrict. Okay, this is happening. And we almost, it's not like we're doing this, but kind of like our heart's doing that. But that only makes the situation worse for everybody. So what if instead we could stay open and keep feeling love? Then whatever they did, really, we're not making it our own. We're sending out something that's very different. If we can stay open, we make better decisions, we experience greater peace, less angst or anger. So this podcast is all about how we can become aware of that and get in touch with the love in our hearts and stay open no matter what else is happening. When I first started doing yoga, one of the things someone asked me what I was getting out of it. And one of the first things I noticed, and I was a big worrier, and one of the first things I noticed was that no matter what was happening around me, all of a sudden I was staying calm. I wasn't going where the people around me were going. And that was a huge thing to become aware of. But of course, I'm talking about something bigger than that. But I just wanted to mention that, that's what we want to do. We don't want to bring the negativity into ourselves and make that our reality. We want to send out love and make that the reality. So the big thing is, most of the time, when we start shutting down or constricting, we're not even aware of it. Maybe you have a friend and you've called this person 3, 4, 5 times and they haven't called you back. Well, as soon as you start thinking like that, when you start to heck with them, well, I'm not going to bother with them, you're already constricting. Your heart's pulling it because it's been hurt.
Yes.
Whether it's real or not, it's been hurt. Maybe this person is just busy, but it doesn't matter. You've been hurt. So the heart starts to pull in. So that's when you want to catch yourself. If you can become aware of that happening, and then we want to try and make a shift. Because the first step is awareness. Most of the time, we're not even aware of it. It happens so easily, so frequently, and so subtly that we're not even aware of that.
Yes.
And so I think there are a couple of things. One thing is, if we daily practice trying to get in touch with the love that is in our hearts, this love of infinite spirit or God or just your inner self, whatever it is to you, that will help to start right there, to have on a daily basis, have that sense of love in the heart. That will make it easier when we start constricting to reopen.
Yeah.
So I thought we would, maybe before we even go into the tricky stuff, which is how to open after we get into those places, just get a sense of that love in the heart. There's lots of ways to do it. One that I think is fun and easy for most people is we go to the heart center. We go along the spine, right behind the heart. Just pull your shoulder blades back, let them relax. That's the heart center, or you could feel it in the front. First, we're going to take some deep breaths, and we're going to inhale. As we exhale, we're going to expand and just feel like light and love's moving out from us. So that's what we're going to do once. Then, after we do that once, we're going to inhale and we exhale. We're going to expand. We're going to sense that someone we love, we haven't seen them in 5 years, they walked into the room. So what do? So we're going to try this together. We're going to do a couple of just inhaling, expanding, and exhaling, and then we're going to open to the person. So just take a nice deep breath, put the awareness in the heart center. Now, when we exhale, just sense that love, pink, white light is moving out from your heart. And when you inhale, you gather it back in. Let's do that a couple times. We exhale, we let the light go out. Inhale in one more time. Now this time, when we inhale, when we exhale, we're going to expand our arms as we exhale and just sense that this person we love, think about someone you love, you haven't seen in 5 years, they're walking in the room. So let's begin. You got to open your arms. You can't do it like that without doing that. So let's do it again. Make sure you're opening your arms because that's what you do if you saw them after 5 years. You haven't seen them in 5 years, you love them. Exhale. Yes. How does that feel in the heart?
Yeah, a lot bigger in my heart right away.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger in the heart. So that's a great thing to do every day. And you could do it, doesn't take long, right? We did it in a few minutes. Just let your heart open like that. Because you're getting in touch with the love that's there. And the more you're aware of that love, the easier it's going to be when it gets tricky. So, okay, so now we're in a situation. Here we're trying to do this good work. You know, you're really trying to help somebody and they snap at you, or they're critical of you, or they're telling other people things about you that, you know, to try and throw you under the bus. See, my face can't stay open. You're wanting to clutch because you're closing.
Right.
You're closing. So the first thing you got to do when you start closing, we got to be aware. Oh, yeah, I'm closing. Oh, but I don't want to open. You got to let go of that.
Yeah.
You got to know that closing is a bad thing for you. It's a bad thing for the other person.
Right.
Anytime we shut down the flow of love from our heart, we're hurting ourselves.
Right.
As well as the other person. So the first thing to do is just step back, just try to watch your thoughts and feelings, particularly your feelings when you're constricting. Just try to be aware, watch it like a witness, just like you're watching someone on a playground. It's not, you're not judging or critiquing or owning it, you're just watching it. That'll kind of calms things down a little bit. Then think about this person that, you know, is doing this thing to you and try to recall if you ever had a good feeling for them. If you can't do that, that's okay, because you may not in that moment. They're rotten at the moment.
You might know that. Yeah.
So, but if we'll settle down a little bit with the witness consciousness, then forget about the person. Just try to, okay, we're going to try to let the situation sit. Do the practice we just did. Don't do the first part with the expansion. Just do the one where you open the arms.
You open your arms.
Yeah, just like this person you haven't seen in 5 years, not the person that just did the crummy thing to you. Someone you love, you haven't seen in 5 years. Open yourself up. Do that 2 or 3 times till you begin to feel a little bit of love, a little bit of good feeling. And then, now here's the key to this practice. Once you can get that feeling of some kind of loving energy going in the heart, then this part of the technique is a little different, but it will change your experience.
Okay.
I mean, it has for me many times. So you're going to sense, you know, just like you would reach your arm out, you're going to sense that a ray of love from the heart is reaching out and touching that person. So first it may touch you may take this love and touch your leg or touch something else. You may touch your mat or get the feeling of the ray of love touching.
Coming from your heart.
Coming from your heart. Then when you've got that, feel that ray of love reaching out and touching that person. Just like that, touching it.
Okay.
Hang on just a minute, I'm going to put this on. So let's go back a step. So we're reaching out with the heart and we're touching, but then we're going to reach out with our heart and we're going to touch this person. And you may have to do that 2 or 3 times, but I guarantee what will happen is that you will have a change in consciousness.
You will
Whether
feel
that
different.
person changes or not
Mhm.
is irrelevant.
Okay.
You're going to have a shift.
So,
Love-
if I'm seeing this ray of energy going out of my heart to the other person, is it touching their heart? Is it touching their hand? How does that work?
It
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter where you touch them.
Okay.
You're just touching them. You're just touching them. And it's the way I like to do it first is I like to reach down and touch, sense that it's touching my leg or touching like this table that I have the computer on, just to get the feeling, get that muscle working, that
Right.
sending the love out, and then touch the person with it, because that's going to be the harder thing, is to touch them with it. But once you get it going, it's going to happen. And I'll tell you, I mean, this one person that I was forced into being in a situation where it was a very challenging situation. It was a volunteer service, and this person was so obnoxious and always trying to do something awful to me personally and to others. And I found myself, just getting like that around them, and also
Right.
having them in that jerk mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to do this practice. So I started out, I got the love going in the heart. First, I did the witness consciousness to separate myself a little bit from the
Right.
tightness.
Right.
Then did the open heartedness, and then you just sense, and I just, like I said, I practice it doing a few things first, and then the last thing is from the heart, just like I'm reaching out with an arm. I'm reaching out with this ray of love and touching that
Right.
person. And what happened in this situation when I did that was I actually felt this person's pain. Felt their pain, and I had so much, there was a flood of compassion.
Right.
And it completely shifted.
For both of you, or just you?
It shifted for me initially, but I noticed, because after that shift that I made, I related to this person differently, and things changed.
It didn't happen again.
It didn't happen, because when I was going like that, it was just building a wall,
Right.
It was putting more energy into the negativity.
Yeah,
So
I really want to acknowledge that what you're talking about may sound really simple for a lot of people who are listening. But here's the thing, everything that you've said up until now are powerful tools in any kind of relationship that you have in your life.
yes,
Your siblings, your family, your friends, your lovers, your married people, all of those things. Literally, you can do that with anybody, reaching out with that energy and allowing yourself to change. And so the dynamic between the two of you changes, and that person also has the opportunity to shift as well, if they can do it. And it happens. What you're talking about is making that shift happen without a lot of mental gyrations going on. Like, you could spend a ton of time thinking about, why is that person pissing me off, or what is that person doing? And you look at all your perceptions that are putting you in that place where you're clutching, and why am I having that response? Well, that's because this and this happened to me when I was such and such an age, and blah blah blah. All of that can just be gone if you do this practice, this energetic practice. You can do this and be free of all that nonsense and not have to do any of that struggling whatsoever. Really powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's really, really important that, it's not about thinking about what's right or what's wrong.
Right.
And, I mean, normally the reaction is to think about, this person is so wrong, or to think about what I could say or do.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Straighten it out. It's not about that. It's about getting in touch with essentially your spiritual center, the love in your heart, which is transforming for you and transforming for the other person. Ultimately, this person and I had an open door relationship. Things really changed,
Right.
but it didn't happen until I was able to open my heart and, and allow it to happen. When we open our hearts, we allow it to happen.
Yes.
And every one of us has done that, where we've shut down to somebody.
And that's so true. But what you're saying is, when you take responsibility for your own life on an energetic level, which, you're talking to me someone who wrote a book, 2015 about how to always choose love. This is
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
I wrote my book about. And that is, when you take responsibility for everything going on in your life, you can choose love, and you can transform yourself primarily, because that's just how it works.
Mm.
And the person around you, the person involved, they could be thousands of miles away, but they will feel it as well. It's always been my idea that what you're talking about gives me chills, Chris, is because this is how you change the world. This is how, one group of small people banded together doing this kind of work can energetically change the world.
We can.
Yes.
Change the people around us.
I know that's true.
Yeah.
I know that's true without a doubt.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
powerful.
And the thing is, try it. You don't have to believe anything we've said. We've told you
Yeah.
our stories. If you try this, I know it'll work. And please let us know. I would love to hear
Yes.
if you tried it and what
What
your
happened?
experience is, or if you're having a problem with it. It'll
Yep.
be, we'd love to help.
Yes, exactly. Like, just, for example, if you have a friend that hurt your feelings, they did something, and in your perception, there was a right and wrong, or there was an offense of some kind, just do this practice that you're talking about. It's like reaching out to them if you were to see them and holding your hand, just have that energy of whatever is going on. I love you. You put that primary energy of I love you first, and it will change. And yes, you're so right. Just practice it. Practice it, practice it, practice it, and see your life transform. It is absolutely a miracle.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So
Yeah.
I hope you have a great time with it this week.
Yes, absolutely. And are you done? You did all your exercises? Well, okay, so go and do that, please, and tell us. Come back with your stories. We want to hear what they are. And if you send us your stories, we'll tell people about them right on this podcast here, so we can give examples of how this is working for people, because this really is transformative. And can you think of anything better now while you're sitting in the world, in your room, and the world is in chaos, than doing this kind of stuff? Like energetically sending out love to some of the most damaged places in the world, some of the people that are suffering the most right now. And anybody that's close to you, especially, because then you'll be able to get the feedback, or be able to, somehow see what has happened because of your efforts. But it really is a energetic principle that works. I am so much with Chris on this one. I've practiced it for a lifetime now, and it's very, very powerful.
I know that you're an expert in doing this, but I just think it's one of the most helpful things people can do for themselves and others.
You never become an expert. There's always another challenge that comes up.
True.
Where, so like me,
the test, right?
I mean, if you think you got this down, it's perfect. Just keep laughing, because the next situation that comes into your life will show you do not. You do not. Right. You do not. There's another level that you can practice that just keeps growing into infinity. I don't think there's any end zone when it comes to love, and how big you can love, and how much you can practice this particular thing in this world. It really is infinite.
It really is.
And powerful. Okay, well, thank you for that. That was really great. I really enjoyed that.
So thank you guys all for joining us today, and please do let us know if this is helpful to you. We'd love to hear from you.
Great. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.